Hi guys, and welcome to another great episode of 2Hot4Church. I am your host, Genese, and this is my lovely co-host, Miss Kim Love Jones. She is a relationship coach, and she's also the author of Perfectly Imperfect, Key Principles That Lead to Your Best Relationship Ever. So make sure you guys go cop that.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome
back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
So we are actually entering into our second season of 2Hot4Church. God has definitely been good to us.
Yes.
Thank you for everyone who has, commented, left a message, supported us in any way, watched the video, shared a video. We truly appreciate you because, you are the reason why we do this.
Yes,
definitely. We are definitely here to help build better relationships. And we just want to thank you.
Yeah. We thank you.
We thank you, and we appreciate you. So we're basically going to jump right in. So the topic for today, the topic that we're going to start off with today is things that you should accomplish before entering into a new relationship.
All right now.
This is a good one. And I'm going to repeat it again for those who did not hear me in the back. We're going to talk about the things that you should accomplish before you enter into a new relationship. And the reason why I think that this is such a much needed, huge topic is because so many times we jump into relationships without even healing first.
Yeah.
And then we take that same garbage, we take that same mess, and we carry it into our new relationship.
Yeah, we do. We do, unfortunately.
And then the cycle continues. The cycle of drama, the cycle of shenanigans, and the cycle of nonsense.
The tomfoolery moves from one relationship to the other.
We are trying to just give you some advice on how to break that cycle. So when I was doing my research for this topic, I think the most important thing that came to me was to stay single, right? Before you get into a new relationship, stay single for a while.
Yeah.
But when I say that, I don't mean to stay single forever. A lot of, don't stay single forever because
I was like, what?
Because I think,
what? Okay.
And I think you say this all the time. New relationships teach you how to be. Like you can't just stay in a bubble. And you said that in the book. You said you can't just stay in a bubble and then expect to know how to work with other people. It takes practice. It takes the actual act of doing.
Yes.
I definitely would say stay single for a while, but don't do it for too long, because then you'll get to the point where you ain't dealing with nobody's shenanigans. You're like, you know what?
You be all messed up. You be like, but she fine though, but she ain't trying to talk to you. It's like, oh my God.
So don't stay single, because I think when you stay single for too long, it's so easy to just get comfortable by yourself,
Yes. I think it's all right to be comfortable with yourself. I think a part of that, the reason why that's important to have your alone time is to get to know yourself.
Right.
And I think what a lot of people do is they forget to take time out to understand and know who they are.
Right.
So that, to coincide with that, you need some time to be single. But check this out, Genese. It doesn't matter whether or not you're single, how long you're single. You work your relationships out actually in other relationships.
Yes.
So it could be with your children.
I agree.
It could be with your sister. It could be with your brother, your mom, or your dad, right? They also help to teach and foster healthy relationships. And you get to, with some self-examination.
Right.
And really taking, standing back and taking a look at what makes those relationships that you have with those people people, co-workers, good friends, best friends, work. And those are, because what I teach is on relationships, right, period. So most people think it's, male, female, of course, hetero, but you understand, they think that that's all I'm talking about.
Right,
no,
right. You're
all
talking
of
about
this transcends,
right.
Just that. It means, have a good relationship with your boss, So even if you're not in a relationship, here's a good example.
Okay.
If all of your friends at work is like, you're too controlling, you're bossy,
right,
you
that
are
can
doing
come
too
out
much,
right, that can come out in your personal relationship.
It comes out in your relationship,
right.
and you may not even understand or know that, but it's a good time to do some introspection and listen. Don't listen with a critical ear. Listen to people who already love you, right, and take their criticism and and cultivate and grow while you are single, because that may be the reason why you're single.
Still single, yes.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the day, everybody...
Put on my glasses on, y'all.
I think at the end of the day, everybody really wants to be loved. Like, you have people walking around, I'm saying, no.
Right.
At the end of the day, I think we all want to be in a loving, fulfilling relationship. Yes. We all want to coexist with someone. Let's keep it 100%.
Right.
But I think it just starts to get frustrating after a while, after, relationship after relationship, after disappointment after disappointment. And then, you just begin to get frustrated.
Right.
So.
Right. But I personally think that is the frustration. I've never been in any season of my life where I've been frustrated to the point where I just like, ugh, and it has not been right around the corner for my breakthrough. Now, the frustration is necessary because in the frustration is when you're going to start paying attention to what's going on in your life, what you truly want, what went wrong, right? And so every time I get really, really frustrated, I have to ask myself, what do I need to learn from this? What do I need to learn? What is it that's going on in my life? Because this is actually not the worst thing that's happening to me, although it doesn't feel good. It is teaching me, it is growing me, it's going to get me to the next level. And in every situation, if you look back over your life, I promise you'll see the growth right after the storm.
Right.
The growth comes right after the storm.
If you pay attention to it.
Right. Well, the reason why people are not being healed is because they're not paying attention, because they're pointing the finger at somebody else.
At the other person, right. Pay attention.
And saying, oh, well, they were a dog, or they were no good, and they were this, and they were that. When the truth of the matter is, what it should do, it should make you take a look at what you're doing, the signs that you miss. It really, really should. It should, these things are critical as per growing up and being different.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Maturity. You know what I'm saying? So it can't always be everybody's fault.
Right,
it's like dealing with a 5-year-old. Nope, she did it,
Yeah, take some responsibility. But that's how you grow. And I think that's the hardest thing that you can ever do. And that brings me to my next, point. My next thing that you should accomplish before entering into another relationship is you should take a good inventory of yourself.
Yes.
You have to take a good inventory of yourself, because I think what begins to happen is people walk around and, like you just said, they're blaming everyone else for the relationship ending.
Right. Right. Or for what the relationship is not.
Right. Exactly.
Before
what the
relationship.
Yes. And instead of taking a good inventory of yourself to say, listen, maybe there was something that I did, or maybe there was a lesson that God was trying to teach me, because we talked to, Kim and I, she is my personal therapist. And I always say this all the time, but Kim and I had this great it was like such a breakthrough moment, and I'm not scared to tell it. But Kim really helped me to break through a thought pattern that I had. And she just said, God is trying to teach you something. She said something about the ego. And she said, because you're not trusting that this is God, God has better for you, and that you're only going through this storm for him to teach you what it is that you need to learn about yourself to be able to get what you really want out of a partner.
Right.
And the only way, well, not the only way, but one of the ways that God does it is to shake us up.
Yeah.
And to, have us feel some type of emotional hurt or pain, not to point at the other person, like, look what you did to me, but to take a look at ourselves and do some inventory. So we need to, before you enter into a new relationship, look at yourself. Keep it 100% with yourself.
It's very difficult. And I think that we're going to get to the next. I don't know if we're going to get to the next one, but part of the whole purpose of a relationship, and I say this all the time, oh my God, it's like the whole purpose of a relationship is to show you who you are. And a lot of people keep thinking that the relationship, a lot of people, women and men, think relationships are somehow going to complete them. That's the complete package. But the truth is that it's only there to hold up a mirror so that you can see yourself, right? Yes. And so we get sometimes caught up. We get caught up and we think, oh, well, that person wasn't for me. Next. Men do it too. Brothers say the best way to get over somebody is to get on top of somebody else. Listen, women say it too. Women say it too. But quiet as kept. But the truth is no. Before you do all that and get all messed up
and get all on top of somebody else
all over again, I don't want nobody in my life. Ooh, we're gonna have to talk about that, girl. Wait, that's a whole nother segment. But
look, that's a whole nother talk show.
That's a whole nother talk show. Yes. But really and truly, if you understand fundamentally what you learned from that person about you, your tolerance level, how much you want to deal with, what are some of the deal breakers for you? Like, think about that. What are some of the deal breakers for you? Yes. Before you do anything else, when you meet the next person, before you enter in, know what your deal breakers are. Yeah. Know what they are, because there are some things that are so outlandish, or they may not be outlandish to the person, but they may be outlandish to you. So know that. Know what your deal breakers are.
And to add on to that, know what your deal breakers are and stick to them. Don't settle.
Oh, my.
Like, I think that is one of the biggest things that we struggle with as women and men that, like I said, want to be loved.
Yes,
we will meet someone, and you said this before, just because you meet someone and they tell you that, you're the dopest thing since sliced bread, it don't mean that you gotta be with them.
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean that honestly, you really don't have to be with them.
What does that mean, though?
Right.
What does that mean?
But to someone who has given up almost on the idea that God, just because this did not work, God still has something bigger and better for me.
Right,
so for someone who has given up on that,
right, I believe
the next best thing since sliced bread kind of line,
right.
It's an easy. They get all caught up.
Wait, don't get caught up.
Don't get caught up.
Don't get caught up.
But they begin to get caught up.
No, because you are beautiful and you are handsome and you are all of that in a bag of chips.
Right.
But you got to really know that for yourself. You cannot get caught up in what somebody else believes about you, because it will taint. It will taint your perspective and your perception. Because you now are reliant upon somebody else making you feel fabulous.
I like that.
I am fabulous all by myself.
And then this is the thing. Once it switches, then you begin to see yourself still as that other person sees you. So you're the best thing.
Maybe you don't.
Well, if that person is telling you that you are the hottest thing since sliced bread, and then all of a sudden, let's say that they are blowing smoke.
Right.
Once their perspective of you changes.
Right.
Then your perspective of you
changes.
Your perspective of you changes.
That's right.
Hello, somebody.
That's right. That's on point, sugar.
So that's why you can't get caught. You have to know this for yourself. Two things that you have to know for certain: that God has something bigger and better for you.
Yes.
And we talked about that. Okay. And then the second thing is you have to know it about yourself first.
Yeah, you do.
You have to know it about yourself. You cannot be reliant on someone else to give you that feeling or that thought or that belief about yourself. Yes, it's good. You think I'm the hottest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
You know what? Well, so do I. You know what I'm saying? So do I.
And you know what? That's another thing I hear a lot of men with daughters is, oh, I got to take my daughter out on a date, or I got to do this. Not all men, but a lot of men do that, and they do that to prepare their daughters for what to expect from a man, right? And wise men do that because they'll set a basic tone for their children.
Yes.
Even how they, they're young men. I do it with my sons. I tell them, listen, I need you to pump the gas, and I open my car door. You understand? And they're like, Ma, at first, when they was younger, I didn't make them pump the gas when they were small. But as they started to become teenagers and stuff, I said, and you never let a woman pump the gas. These little things that I would teach them to prepare them for when they go out and they meet. And my son, my baby boy specifically, he is amazing with young ladies. Like, he really is thoughtful. All that he does for me is the same way that he is.
Wait,
but
how old is he?
You know what?
Wait, we talking young?
Right. I'm gonna have to fight her, y'all.
We talking young. Like, what kind of young we talking?
What? Okay, this old lady.
It's a joke.
No, I'm kidding. It's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a joke. We're kidding.
Tell me.
Look. I'm like, but it's important. But these kind of things are important to help to
develop the character,
and cultivate, so that you know what to look for. You're like, wait, but my father, he might not have bought me everything, but when we would go out, he would be prepping me and preparing me, and it would all come back. And you may not even be consciously aware of what he's doing, but he is setting a baseline for how a man should treat you. And when you have that, that's why, going back to, when you have that, it'll help you to identify what is good for you.
Right, I agree.
It'll help you. It'll be like a baseline of understanding of what to expect.
Good. Right.
Absolutely.
What to expect. Yes.
I got my foot under. Okay, I'm back, y'all. Okay.
Okay. So the next thing that I thought of is to what you should do before entering into a new relationship is to get spiritual. And when I say get spiritual, a lot of people always associate spirituality with religion.
Right.
I'm not talking about religion. They're two different things. Grab spirituality. When I say really get spiritual, is to grab onto a hold and belief that there is something bigger and better that has your best interests at heart.
Right.
Religion is more so going to church every Sunday because in my religion culture, this is what we do every Sunday, and we read our Bible every Wednesday, and that's more of the religion part of it. But when I say that, when I talk about getting more spiritual, I mean grab a hold of the belief that there is something out there that has your best interest at heart and only wants the best for you, that loves you unconditionally.
Right.
But
you know what the issue is with that? Here's the issue. The spirituality, the relationship with God. I don't even like the word spirituality anymore because it denotes some other stuff, right? But I use it for the sake of this. The spirituality piece of it is not so much about, being so deeply spiritual, but it's about developing and cultivating a relationship with God. I find that most people come running into the church house for a myriad of reasons, but one of them is because they're broken and they're overwhelmed and they cannot do it anymore. They feel like they cannot do this, and they come and they start coming to church because that's been something that they've known all their lives, right? And that's a good place to start, but it comes with a certain level of surrender, right? And that has nothing to do with religion or spirituality. It has to do with you wanting to be in communion and in communication with God, right? And if you start to understand the basic fundamentals of what God is showing us in his word about relationships and about who he is, but for the sake of us, he's so gracious and full of grace and mercy that he not only tells us about his son and who he is and the spirit, but he also has in there who we are to him.
Right.
You understand? And when you start to understand the fundamentals, the bottom line, the very essence of the word of God is love.
Is love.
And that we are truly the apple of his eye. We will find ourselves always understanding that people have to come in, and while we will not find a God here on earth, we won't find him here. Our husbands will not be of that. And you'll start to understand that that is the first love. And so you can't love anybody else and give them truly until you understand who you are to God.
Right.
Not just God the Father, but God the Son and God the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Right. And so the issue then becomes, people say, oh, I want a loving, kind relationship. I want to be loved. I want to be loved. Well, I'm sorry. Until you understand this basic fact that you are not an accident, that you are here by design.
That's right.
That you were predestined before the foundation of the world, that you are truly the apple of God's eye, that you are all of that.
And a bag of chips.
And a bag of chips. And you start to understand that, like down in the city of your soul. Until you know that, you can't love. And I know that that's probably going to bug a lot of people.
And it does, because it's bugging me out.
Right. And it's really good because you don't even understand that until you know that.
Right.
And you only know that through faith.
Right.
So so most people say, oh, I love myself. But see, how I know that you love yourself and you're ready for a relationship is there's evidence of God, your God consciousness, your God mind, your God center. It shows up. It emanates and resonates through you. And so people always, we were talking about energy. Were we talking about energy? When you get a certain energy, a certain level of energy that you give out, people are drawn to that. And women always say to me, well, there are no good men out there. I'm like, the devil is a lie. But the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because the energy even that you exude, the energy that you exude is because of the God in you, the spirit of the living God. Yes. So we don't, people get caught up in the religions, or if I go to church, if I sing on a choir, if I do 1,900 other things.
Nothing to do with it.
It don't have nothing to do. People are drawn to who they see you being and who you are.
Right.
So I'm done. I went on my I was on my soapbox, y'all. I'm off. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but that's true.
I'm heavy. No, I don't. Okay, you're going to cut that part.
No, we're not cutting it. Because it was good. That is good stuff. That is really good stuff. We were also talking about being healed from your past relationship. So that is another thing before you enter into a new relationship. Make sure that you are healed. And I said this in one of the shows. The biggest way, the easiest way to know that you're healed from your ex is if you hear that they're with someone else, you're not even mad.
Right.
You be like,
hey.
No, you like.
Right. You know what happened? People think the opposite of love is hate, but it's not. The opposite of love is indifference. The opposite of hate is indifferent. So when you get to that point where you're like, oh my God, how's your mother? And and how's your kid? And and you really are not tied to any outcome.
Right.
Then you've been delivered and set free.
And set
free.
I'm waiting for a couple of my exes to get married.
Ooh.
Like, for real, hurry up and get married. Ooh. Yeah, I am.
You waiting for them to get married?
I'm just waiting for them to get married. Yeah.
So you could do, so you could do the...
So I can start shouting like, God.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Lord. You got rid of
start speaking in tongues and stuff, like, for real. But, yeah, and we talked about this last night when you said, when you really love someone. Is when you want to see them happy. Love is not attached to selfishness.
It's not.
You know, remember our conversation we had last night? Like, love is not attached to selfishness. Right. So I think that is very important. One of the biggest ways to know that you are over your ex is when you totally just are genuinely happy and you want to see them happy, even if it's not with you.
But that's not about the ex. That's about you really being happy with who you are and with your life. Mm-hmm. That's what that's about.
Right.
That's like, because the reason why you wouldn't be is because you're having some difficulty within yourself.
Yes, that's
it
right.
doesn't have anything to do with, so so it's powerful because it's liberating. Mm-hmm. And so when you can see somebody else who you have a relationship with and genuinely care about with the next person, and you still like, babe, if you need anything, I got you. Mm-hmm. If you need anything, holler, right. And not because it's tied to anything other than
just true
love. Right, because I really want to see you well.
Happy. That's right.
I want to see you well.
Yep.
And I think until a lot of people, I know people are not going to listen to this. I think a lot of people need to wait until they're in that position. Like when you really can, unselfishly give of yourself and serve. Mm-hmm. I don't even think you should be trying to be in a relationship, period.
Right, because I think that's what a relationship is all about. A relationship is about serving. A lot of people don't understand that. And you said this once before. A lot of people go into a relationship looking to be served.
Yes.
I think that was one of our first shows.
I don't know.
That was back in season 1. I remember you said that. It was like, you were like, the biggest issue is when people come into, because I read it in a book. I think that's what happened. It's in a book. I read it in a book, and it touched me. I like love the book. So I came and I was like, but remember you said this in the book. But that's what you said. A lot of people go into relationships looking to be served as opposed to looking to be a blessing.
Yes. And most people
to someone else.
Right.
And that's what a relationship is.
And they don't get it.
Yes.
And they keep thinking like, why can't I find anybody? Because you're not a servant. Mm. So, and that goes back to what we was talking about the word of God, about who you are in Christ. It goes back to that. And I'm not trying to be deep or heavy right now. I'm just like all of that. Like that's what we're here for. Mm-hmm. And when you really wrap your head around the idea of that, it's a game changer.
Right.
And it's not for you to be a doormat or for people to walk all over you. It's none of that, because God gave you a good mind. Mm-hmm. But the idea is that if you're going to get into a relationship, you should be looking into the person that you can help.
Right.
The person that you can serve. And I'm not just talking about cooking dinner and cleaning the house.
Right.
That's that goes hand in hand. Everybody's working these days anyway. But the point is,
Uber Eats.
You know what? See, she said Uber Eats, y'all. She's wrong. Girl, you better get in there and cook that man a meal. We talked about that before, but that's another talk show.
Chef it up.
So it's not about that. What it is about is, where can I be of assistance to you?
Right.
Where can I bless you? And it may not be in the kitchen. It may be helping him to build his business. It may be getting in and helping him to see his vision and be able to get in there and help him to capitalize and build on what he sees. Sometimes that may be how you can serve. But what that does is it forms a friendship. It creates intimacy.
Yes.
It creates the things that we need that's going to foster a great relationship. And not just keep looking for what you can get. It amazes me, and I'm like, it might be tied to what we as the millennials, right? It's a trickle up theory. Like what's literally happening now is, generation after generation of our children, our parents wanted more for us, right? And then it was a time when if your neighbor saw you in the street, right, and you were doing something wrong, you knew you was going to get it from the neighbor and from
you was going to get that tail,
right?
Tap.
And so then the next generation was, I remember our mom, such and such said to me, she was so nosy, I don't want nobody touching my kids. Right? And then the next generation was like, oh, that's child abuse.
Yes.
And then the next generation was like, nobody better not put their hands on my child, but I can't even beat my child, but the police can.
Right.
So we're of that generation, at least I might be, I'm aging myself. Y'all shut up. Anyway, for all y'all, because I know y'all watching. Shut up. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is it's an attitude of I deserve everything and I don't have to work for anything. And everybody, so now we're making more money than our parents or our grandparents did, and it's an entitlement that whoever gets me, I'm the prize, and I don't have to do nothing but be cute. And the brother is like, well, I can sit on the couch and play video games as long as I'm sex enough,
right?
You know, and it's an idea. I don't know where it came from. It's out of order.
It's totally right. The devil is a lie, and the truth is nowhere in it. I'm telling you, it takes much more than that.
Is the entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is the entitlement, and something is getting lost, and we can attribute it to a lot of social economic things. But the truth is that this is some crazy talk.
You know what happens is we always talk about how fast you can move on to the next person.
Yeah.
So why would you need to put in the work if it's not working out with you? I don't have to really put in the work with you. I can just go start a new relationship.
Right.
Start a new relationship, be with a new partner, and it's always good in the beginning when you're not
come up short.
Yeah, but you're always going to come up short, but it's always good in the beginning when there's no work involved. Right. In a new relationship, there's really no work involved. You're really getting to know someone. But if you've been
of work.
In a new relationship, no, I don't think it's a lot of work. Right, it's not that deep work. It's, okay.
Because you in the chase.
Right.
And you still trying to be cute.
Right.
And you trying to eat the salad.
You're trying to eat the salad, not the hamburger.
Right,
Kim eats the hamburger, honey.
I eat the hamburger, sugar. Here I am in my full regalia.
Yes. But if you can just switch over to the next once the work gets hard. Once the work gets hard with, the relationship that you've been in, if you could just switch over into the next without having to now put in that work, it's too easy because relationships take work. Let's keep it real. People who have been, somebody told me this, I'll never forget it. She said to me, and she had been married for maybe over 35 years, and she said to me, marriage is for grown folks.
Wow, I love that.
Marriage is for grown folks. It ain't for kids. It ain't for kids at all.
And all we raise them is a bunch of kids.
Yeah, it ain't for kids.
Right.
Yeah. So that's deep to me. That's like, wow, that means that you have to be grown and willing to put in that work. It's not
grown.
Yeah. You got to be grown.
Grown.
And like you have to be grown and you have to be willing to serve the other person.
Yeah.
I love this talk, Kim, whenever we get together, we could go on and on and on. Yeah, rocket to the break it's on. We go on and on with it. So, being that we can go on and on with it, like I said before, I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you guys for going on and on with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap this conversation up. And but we don't want to wrap it up without telling you where and how you can reach us, right? Yes. So you can reach us at 2Hot4Church. We are on Instagram. It's at 2Hot4Church. You can also reach us at Facebook, 2Hot4Church TV. You can follow me. I'm Genese Roberson on Facebook. And Kim.
And I am Kim Love Jones on Facebook. And you can reach me there. You can reach me on reallovejones.com. You can send me an email at reallovejones678@gmail.com to see more of these videos.
Oh, yes.
Follow us.
Yes.
Both of us on Facebook.
Yes,
it is going down.
Yes.
It is going down.
It is. It's going down.
Down.
It's going down.
It's going down. Okay.
It's going down. But thank you guys for joining us, and we will definitely see you next time.